Welcome to WO50 Podcast, Women Over 50 Embody Wisdom and Wellness.
Well, I know you do, my BFF, Eddi.
So do you.
Thank you. I'm Corrine, and we are here today talking about presence instead of presence-minded, like the physical presence-minded, finding wellness and wisdom in the here and now. So we went to deep dive today, didn't we, Eddi? We had some good tips.
Sure did. Oh, yeah, it was fun. We talked about lots of little things and things that distract us and how we center in.
Yeah, we really talked about how, the importance of being present with your family and your friends and yourself over the holidays, and taught you how to do it instead of being reactive, how we can be, and our conditioned reactiveness. We all kind of play these roles when we get together with people we've known all our lives, and to how we can kind of stop those reactions. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, taking care of our little egos, getting them in check, and watching Mr. Judge come out, and all those little things.
Yeah. So we
fun.
hope you enjoy this episode of the importance of presence this holiday seasons.
Hello. How are you doing?
We're wearing pink and blue today.
I know, it's great. It's
We
really
didn't plan
balanced.
it.
Nope.
You're wearing baby blue and I'm wearing bright pink. No,
Mhm.
not quite baby blue. It's a your favorite blue you're wearing.
I love this blue.
Yeah.
It's ocean blue, I think it is.
Mhm.
Or turquoise. That's right.
Yeah, it looks good.
Go
Is
ahead.
this so you backed yourself up from your camera, so you're happy about that?
I did. I'm really happy. My nose isn't right on the camera, so I don't know who will notice it, but
So it was after so you guys have been over Thanksgiving for a month now. It's after Thanksgiving for us. So I'm starting to watch Christmas movies. What are you doing?
I did watch one the other day. I
You
did
did?
watch one. I loved it, and it is getting me into the Christmas spirit. I was outside today. I had to go into my greenhouse in the backyard and trim back some bushes because it's getting really cold, and I usually cut them back a little bit. And I went in the greenhouse, and my rosemary and thyme were like huge. So I started cutting them back with an idea that maybe I'll make some little flower vases this year for everybody and put some herbs in them, or just freshly cut. And then you said make a wreath, and I'm like,
Make a door wreath, yes, or a wall wreath, yeah.
Yeah, little small ones. And so that's what I'm going to do, because like we were talking about last podcast, these homemade gifts are really wonderful, but here is beautiful herbs that you can pick and use on your cooking, and they're grown with love and they smell amazing. So even just putting a few sprigs in like little vases was really cool today, because I could smell it all over the house. So it's great.
Yeah, rosemary's my favorite this time of year. I just love it.
Yeah.
I've got a nice big plant out here too.
I know. And I was out pruning with those big long pruners for a couple hours. And then I came in, I'm like, gosh, my arms feel like
you got a good workout.
Like I've been doing planks all day, and then I realized, oh, it's that thing.
That's one of the reasons why I don't work out anymore, is because I'm in my yard and my garden so much with my wheelbarrow and shoveling stuff and planting stuff and squatting. And, I just don't, I do my yoga in the morning, and I do my little trampoline for my cardio, and then I'm good.
But you can't say you don't work out. That is a workout.
Yeah, exactly. I'm active. Yeah.
Any movement is a workout, right?
Yeah.
Anything we do, and that's the, it's interesting. I had a woman in my office that said, I feel really bad because I really don't want to exercise. I don't want to exercise anymore. And I think we said this in another podcast. And I said to her, and this comes up all the time. And I said, movement is movement, whether you call it exercise or trimming the bushes or whatever. Yeah. You're jumping on the trampoline. We're chasing the dog. We're running after grandkids, whatever it is, children.
Yeah. I think it's more people that, I guess people that work in an office and have more of a sedentary lifestyle that have to go to the gym and work out. But those of us who love working outside and love walking and hiking and stuff, I'd much rather do that.
Yeah, and I used to love to go to the gym. I really did. I loved running and biking. I still love bicycling and all this kind of stuff. But the gym, doesn't appeal to me anymore. I have my weights at home, but I have lots of friends who love going to the gym. So, you
Still,
know, yes, still. Oh, yes, in their 60s and 70s even, and they
yeah.
still love going.
Well,
And
it's a good social thing for people. Like I do recommend that to my clients that don't have a partner or something. It's a good for social if you don't know people, especially because the gym here in Tennessee, the Ys and stuff, they have programs for actually over 50, seniors they have, which seniors
Mhm.
over 50. Anyway, for seniors, they have like lots of different activities and workouts and all kinds of group activities, community things. So
Yeah,
there
it's
there
great.
is stuff where there's a will, there's a way. It is
Mhm.
one of the most challenging. We should talk about that on a podcast one time, sometime. I don't know if you have many people in your clientele where they they want to be more social. They want to, but they're like, especially my single moms,
Mhm.
um, they have a hard time socializing and making friends because they're working, and then they're have their kids for half time or three-quarters time, and then how do they have a social life?
That's challenging.
Yeah,
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 my daughter
challenging.
has to do that, so yeah, that'd be a great topic because they
Yeah.
do have to work it in and they do have to, really it ties into what we're going to talk about today. It's staying in the present moment and not going too far ahead.
Actually, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this today, is because when people come to me for coaching, they want to plan. Like, even I was talking to a couple people about the bliss day coming up in January. They wanted to do this mapping thing, this treasure mapping thing that I do sometimes on New Year's, where I have people draw out, things that they want in the future.
Mhm.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's sort of like how the last episode, or maybe two episodes we talked about reflection, is just having the balance. We want like 85 or 90% of our presence in the now. And that's our title today, is being present, having your presence instead of present minded, like the presents for Christmas presents.
Yeah. Presence, not present minded.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So that's what we're going to discuss today, and the reason why, and some you know tools of how to stay present, and also why it's important, why when somebody comes to me and they say they want to meet somebody, I'm like, first of all, we've got to look at you, because there's several reasons for that. Is like, you have to become the partner of the wonderful person that you want. You can't be like a lonely person that isn't really in balance with maybe some depression and some things like that, and then want this amazing person to come along, because they're not gonna, they're gonna want another amazing person, right? So you have to sort of work on yourself. And work on yourself, I don't like that word, but just bring it back to now, and you, and what are your thoughts, where sort of, what thoughts do you believe and not believe, where is your happiness graph, kind of thing, your day
Yeah.
to day.
Yeah. That's right. Yep.
And for
Like,
you, it's a go-to all the time, because you can only work on your physical health from the present moment, right? You have to
that's right.
look at what you have in front of you and what can you do about it.
That's right. It's like yesterday I played pickleball and that's all I thought about. That game that I played for that 2 hour period. I didn't think of anything else.
Yeah.
Nothing. I didn't. It's like just enjoying the sport, the game, and my phone wasn't even handy. It's like, and 2 hours flies. So no matter what it is you're doing, you could be skating somewhere or sliding or laying on a beach or whatever it is you pick,
Or
skiing.
grocery shopping or driving to work. It doesn't have to be anything, because that's the thing, is what happens is it's easier for us to be present and have our presence when we want to, like when it's important to us, or when we're
Yes.
doing an activity that we love and that we enjoy.
Mhm.
That's easier for us, and that should show you that it is being present is a choice. Like your mind being squirrely and all over the place and going into the future and into the past, you aren't, you have more sort of control over that than you think you do.
Yeah, it's really challenging, isn't it? That whole sentence you just said, because the thinking, when even with meditation, people always think it's stopping the thoughts. I hear it
It's,
so many times, right?
I know I can't, I will like, I've tried to meditate, but I just can't stop my thoughts. That's what people will say. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's not what meditation is about. Meditation is about noticing that you have thoughts. And it's like, I always say, it's like the monkey in the tree. You let the monkey play in the tree, and then he takes a nap. You let the mind just play out, and eventually it will calm down. But you can't force the
Yeah.
mind to stop, as that'll drive you a little
Yeah.
nutty.
I know. Just think about if you had to think about, if your thoughts are coming, whether you want them or not, they're coming whether you want them or not.
They're
Ear is coming.
arising
Yep.
automatically.
Automatically. An ear is coming into you whether you want it or not. It's coming in, it's going out, but we never for a second panic about it.
Yeah. Your breath
Well, most
not coming.
your
Yeah.
breath, right? It's there. It's
Yeah.
so how do we get to a place where we can park the thoughts or change the channel? Like that's the whole point of meditation, is just allowing.
Is just allowing. That's it.
Yeah.
Is allowing, and the monkey will eventually take a nap. The monkey mind will eventually calm down, or it won't. But the thing to notice when you is that there's an awareness that's aware of your thoughts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to go back to your, that you have a choice. So when you're playing pickleball, you love it, you're engaged in it, and your choice is to be there fully. So it's your choice. You're the one that's in control. I always tell people there's a lot of different Eddies in that head of yours. There's the
Yes.
judging Eddie, and the fearful Eddie, and the happy Eddie, and the the healthy Eddie, and all the different Eddies. But there's only one decision maker Eddie. And that decision maker was the one playing pickleball that was able to help you focus.
Mm-hmm.
But then people don't realize that's a choice, right? Because your thoughts, like we had said, your thoughts just come and go. They come from nowhere. And that's what one thing beautiful about meditation, you notice that you're eventually is your thoughts will come from nowhere, and they'll also disappear just as fast out of nowhere. Like you can't control
Yeah.
what comes, what goes, but you can control what you decide to pay attention to and what's important to you. That's about the only
Yes.
thing you can do.
So, and that's so accurate, because like even using pickleball in this moment, there's a big window, people are looking in, and for a second a thought could go to, oh my God, somebody I know is watching me, I better not mess up, holy shit. We're like, the thought that takes over, right? Instead, I don't even look towards the window. There is no distraction for me,
Yeah.
because that decision to be in the present moment in that game. So when there's a game that we love, hockey, skating, pickleball, whatever it is, it's so much easier, isn't it, to
Yeah.
do that? So, but that's the practice. So it's like taking a reference point and going, okay, if I can do it with that, then maybe I can do it with this.
It's really, really simply empowering yourself to notice that it is a choice. The metaphor that I give to people, like I think it's great the way we're talking about it right now too. And the other metaphor I give to people, like kind of like how you use the breath, is like your peripheral vision. Like even now, if you're listening to us, whether it's just on audio or if you're watching us on YouTube and engaging your eyes, you can see where no matter where your eyes are focused in this moment as you're listening to us, there's peripheral vision happening that you don't have control over, right? Like even I have control over my hands, but even though I feel like I might have control in my house, I don't know who's going to walk in the door, whatever. And certainly when we're driving is a good example, or walking down the street, we don't want to know what's going to happen in our peripheral vision. But we know, because most of us luckily have had vision since we were born, that we have 100% control of what we decide to look at, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't
Mm-hmm.
have control over all the peripheral stuff, but we have control over what we decide to look at. And our mind is the same way. But because, we've never been taught that, that we just sort of unconsciously decide what we think is important and what has energy and what has stickiness. Sometimes it's a negative thought, sometimes it's a worrying thought, it's judging thought. Mostly it's all that, because that has a lot of gravity and a lot of weight to it, whatever has the stronger neural pathways. But you can override all of that, and it just takes practice. And that's one of the reasons why we meditate and why we do mindfulness, and why it's important to do it like when things are easy, because it's like you automatically do it when we're doing these things that you enjoy, like we talked about. But then
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, when you're driving to and from pickleball, or, driving to the grocery store, or talking to somebody you don't enjoy talking to, and they're kind of going on a long story, and your mind starts to wander. And then they ask you a question like, oh, what was that? Because your mind is wandering. Those are the moments I'm talking about, right? And so it's called a very undisciplined mind. And
Mm-hmm.
people don't realize that they do have control over what they decide to believe, and what they decide to focus on. And so I have people practice, like either driving in their car or going to the bathroom. I think I've mentioned this before, where they're just promise themselves for a full minute they're going to be mindful and present, and they'll notice that they're not so good at it, that their mind keeps wandering.
Yeah.
But that's the beginning stages of being mindful and being present, and having your presence be there. And it's so wonderful to do over the holidays. I'll tell you, when I started to shift my family dynamics for me, because that's the only thing I can do. Like my brother used to make me cry every Christmas.
Mm.
Every Christmas, up until about 7 or 8 years ago, every Christmas, every summer, there'd be at least one time where he wouldn't know, but he would just say something that was so off the cuff, mean or whatever. Of course, he's oblivious. And I'd go downstairs and wherever I was and go cry for an hour, and then come back, and so I, and then same with my dad. My dad, they were my two big button pushers. My dad would be like, when we were in the kitchen together making crepes on whatever morning, I was always his fried banana maker for the crepes. And he would order me around, tell me what to do. And I make crepes all the time. I do it, and I would just be irritated and pissed off, and just I don't like being here. And then after that, I just decided, no, I'm going to just be of service. I'm going to listen. I'm going to visualize a connection from my heart to his.
Mm-hmm.
And and then I enjoyed being in the kitchen with him. And I wasn't trying to prove myself or trying to do it my way, because I realized that my stubbornness was just as bad as his. Like I'm his daughter, right? So my stubbornness, especially in the kitchen, which many people can attest to, I'm a little controlling in the kitchen. I love cooking and have things to do my own way. And so, but when I'm assisting someone, I've got to be able to assist someone. So I've really learned that around family, especially, is being quiet. And I realized, taking responsibility for my part with my brother, is that I was trying to. My brother is very he's awesome, and he has a big heart, but he also is worships money and cars and muscles. And I could say that if he was sitting here. uh, he does. That's his most important thing in his life. So I would try to match his ego, which I could never do. I would try to impress him by trying to talk about who I worked with in Nashville and impressive things that I knew would impress him. But
Mm.
as soon as I started to play that game, oh my gosh, he will always beat me at that game. And that's usually when he would make me cry, kind of thing. Then
Mm.
when I started just to be myself, just to be who I was,
Mm.
not trying to impress him, not trying to engage him or not engage him, just being myself fully,
Mm-hmm.
now we get along better than we ever have. And I've actually found so many things in common with him that we just have different language for, that I never ever thought that I could have. And that was just by my presence, by being present and noticing, taking responsibility for my part in all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. And I love that you shared that because, you know, I love my older brother as well, and he too loves cars and money, and just he loves beautiful things and always did, and life changes, and you've really helped me with that, with just staying in that present moment with him and honor where he is and where I am at the same time. But, there is nothing to prove. There is no battle of the egos, It's just really softening into, okay, well, this is this is who they are, right? And this is who I am. So, it's so much easier if you can just sit with the present moment, not try to change the situation or wish for something better or wish it was different or
or judge them or have an
yeah,
expectation that it's going to be
yeah.
different or get your buttons pushed. Like that's what I noticed in the kitchen. I started to notice that with my mom and my dad, my whole family, we
Mhm.
we all had these roles that we would play every year. And you
Yes.
could walk in and you knew
Yes.
which role everybody was playing, and they'd play out the same role every year, and including me. And I was like, I'm not going to play that role anymore. So my solution was just to listen more, just
Yeah.
to listen. And it wasn't that I was not being participating. I was just being more thoughtful instead of reactive. Instead of reacting and
Yes.
saying and playing the role like I always was, like whatever role I usually play in my family. I mean, I'm still the brunt of the jokes, and I actually really like that.
But
I
me
really,
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
I actually
Same.
really enjoy it. I don't know how
Yeah.
much you enjoy it.
I I've gotten a lot better because my whole thing in life, when you have siblings, and I was, you're a middle child too, middle of 3, I'm a middle of 5, and it's not taking it personal and
It's
not getting
not personal.
defensive.
Yeah.
I know it's not. And not getting defensive and just really as I've gotten older, I think this is why embracing aging is so, so important because it's minor. This stuff is not real. This is thought. Feels
Well,
real.
it's conditioning more I would say conditioning more than thoughts. It's yes, it's your thoughts about the situation for sure,
Yes.
but what I think what we're talking about is it's conditioning and the roles that we play that we're
Yes.
conditioned to play from when we're little, that we all play these same roles in our family. And if you
Mhm.
watch it play out, if you try, if you're listening right now and you try this experiment, because I do look at it as an experiment of listening more and watching people, and you'll see that they have their same roles that they play, and if you start showing up differently,
Mhm.
just more loving, more present,
Mhm.
lighter, not trying to
Mhm.
teach anybody, not trying to
No,
change anybody,
no.
just showing up. And that's why I would visualize the connection from my heart to whoever I was having a challenge with. And
Mhm.
so it's energetic. It's not like verbal or anything like that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think as soon as we drop the judgment card and just enter in, like you just said, just coming from a place of love, because that's our true existence is that.
It's
And
hard when
it's
family's involved because
it's
we have
very
these
challenging.
very strong conditioned responses. It's taken me
Yes.
years. They always say if you want to know how well you're doing in life, just go to your family
Mhm.
gathering. And that's why for me I would do great in Nashville and then do, because I've been doing this work for a long, long, long time, as long as Eddie's been doing the health and well of the physical body and and natural medicine. I've been doing it in emotionally and with meditation. And I would show up with my family, and like I said, my dad would piss me off, my brother would make me cry. And even though I know it's not proper language to say that I,
Yes.
my
It is.
brother didn't make me cry, is that he would say things and then I would cry. But I'm just using an example. And so it took me years to notice my part in it too. Like I think the first stage is to see it,
Yes.
is to see your role in it, to see you're not going to change anybody. You can't change anybody. You can only change how you respond. And
Mhm.
you can only notice your conditioning. It's not your job to change anybody else's conditioning. But
Mhm.
the law of the universe is that when you notice your conditioning and you start to change your reactions to responses and you're more thoughtful and mindful and you show up differently, that everybody else will show up differently too.
It has a ripple effect.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. It has a ripple effect. And that would be a great challenge this Christmas now, as or sometime during the holiday season, to if there's somebody in friends or family where we're going and there's a button pushed, let's see if we can change or recognize or be present in that moment to how we felt, right? And then just like self inquiry, then see just what got pushed, what triggered ego's head to flare, a reaction, and just don't say anything. Like count to 10, 20 if you have to, right? And see if, because the less said is the easiest mended, isn't it? When
Yeah,
buttons are
beautiful.
pushed. Yeah,
Beautiful.
the less said is the easiest mended. So
And we're not saying to be a doormat. That's not what we're saying, because there, it's just that it's just drop the defensiveness, because that's the key. Is
yeah.
if somebody's cruel or mean, it is like Eddi said, the less said, the best, easiest to mend, whatever that beautiful what thing is you just said, is that because if you get somebody that's angry, if you match their anger, it's just going to keep escalating. But if you have somebody that's a jerk and angry at you, if they can't push your buttons, if you're just silent, and that they're going to deflate eventually, right? And so you have a lot of choices. You can walk away. You don't have to stand there and take anything. You don't have to hang out and with somebody who is, if they're being mean to you or something like that. But you also don't have to engage or defend. My favorite word that I ever learned from Deepak Chopra was defenselessness. Defenselessness. And that has been my mantra for 25 years, defenselessness.
Yeah. Yep. And it's I catch myself weekly defending, like in some shape or form. But that's really amazing. I'm delighted with myself for that, because now I'm catching myself. It had gone on for way too many years. I'm going, why did that just happen? Why did this, and I'm just being me, and I was nice to that person, and why it's doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter how, it doesn't matter if you're
Doesn't
the
matter.
nicest person in the world and the most perfect person in the world. There are people who are not nice. There are family members who take things personally, who are judgmental, who do have expectations. We're not trying to change them. We're trying to help you. If you're listening,
Mm-hmm.
you want to become a more aware human. That's mine.
Yes.
It's not that I've even wanted to work, like even work on myself. I don't like that word, but I want to become a more aware and loving human. And the only thing that I can do to change that is shift my perspective. And so that's why I've done the work that I've done.
Yeah. You know what just came into my head?
So
I wish I had time to get a T-shirt made for you for the holidays, but it would be, or you need
birthday in April.
it, birthday. It would say the only thing you should do defensively is drive.
I don't know how many would get that. I would get it. That's funny.
And you would say, Eddi, that is so thoughtless. I'm like, I know, thank you.
Thank you.
This is why we
That's
laugh
great.
all the time.
That's great. I love
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So this is what we're talking about. So I'd rather people rather than, I mean, there's nothing wrong with, like we said, we did that episode of the importance of reflection. That's, an hour or two at most. You reflect on your past year, how it was, what you'd like to do differently. If you want to do resolutions or what you want to bring more of in the new year, again, that's an hour or two. But I'm talking about being present and showing up with your presence as a present for people.
Yeah.
That's the greatest gift, because that's really all anybody wants. Look at a child. What
Yep.
does a child want? What do your grandchildren want? They might
They
want a
just
gift
want
now and
me.
then, but they want you. They
They
want
want
Nana.
me. Oh yeah, yesterday they want me, and we made up a card game. It was an instant card game. I'd never played it before, but we laughed so hard, and I was only running in and running out with some food, and I ended up playing a 20-minute card game. That meant more than anything, right? And it's 20 minutes, and we laughed, and I left, and it's, yeah, those are precious moments, and that's a present. That's a
Mm-hmm.
big present,
Mm-hmm.
being
Absolutely.
present. And I felt good, and they felt good, and that's all that matters. So,
Yeah.
this holiday season, this is what we want for people to, dig deep into yourself, and to give yourself the biggest gift, and give that, gift of present
Yeah, because it's the
moment.
greatest gift to yourself too. That's great, Eddi. It is the greatest gift. Yes, it's the greatest gift to everybody else around you, but it's also the greatest gift to yourself, because your intuition is operating in the present moment. That's the more present you are. So if you have, if I have like 100% of Corrine in the present moment, and then I do that throughout the day, then a week and a month goes by and I've got 100% of myself showing up for my intuition, for my responses, for my, everything in life of to share with people or to do for myself or whatever it is. But if I've got 50% of Corrine showing up in a conversation or in writing something or in my garden or something, if I'm thinking about something else, it's like then you multiply that, then I've only got 50% of myself, and then you're not living life fully. That's how life goes by. I mean, life goes by quickly anyway, but how things can get pushed under the rug, and a year can go by and your relationships haven't gotten better, and you're still sort of having the same tape running through your head, the same resolutions every year. Because in the present, if you're present, I promise you, if you bring more presence into your life, you will not have the same goals and resolutions next year.
True.
Promise.
That is truth. Yeah. I promise you that too.
Yeah. And so I'm so excited we got to talk about this today, and we get to release this in December when it's so important to talk about. And we are going to record our next episode. If you want to use over the holidays, we're going to record several different meditations that are specifically to help you over the holidays through family, through any stress you might have, to help nourish you and nurture you. We're going to have several different ones. So that's what you have to look forward to in the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to finish yet, Eddi, because I just have to share looking at you.
Yes.
I know we say this sometimes, but it's like looking at myself.
I know. I know. I feel the same. I'm looking at you and going, God, I hope my skin is as shiny as hers over there. And she's looking happy today, and her eyes are gleaming, and she looks like me. I was thinking the same thing. We do this all the time. That's present
In
moment.
person too. We're just like, oh my gosh,
We do the same. And it's so fun that I'll share this too. It's so fun because when we attempted to record when we were together in Sicily, there was a moment we're talking and Corinne had to stop the tape because she said, would you just get back into present moment? Like, what are you doing? You're picking your nails.
She wasn't used to recording without not on Zoom, right?
It's really funny.
And so what was happening is that she would be talking and she'd be looking at me when she would be talking, and we would just be an audio recording, right? And she'd be looking at me and talking. And then as soon as I would start to talk, she'd start picking her nails and fiddling with her stuff. She would not even look at me, and I'd be like trying to find her eyes. And she's like, she didn't even realize she was doing it. She was listening. But
I was getting distracted by many things around me. Yeah. So it's really funny. So when we talk about this present moment, that thought came into my head so many times as we're talking. I was like, okay, if there's an opportunity, I have to say
that was
it.
funny. That was funny.
Yeah, that was
That's
funny.
great.
And
well,
it's
go ahead.
Being
Sorry.
present.
Yes, be present. That's our gift to you this holiday season. Our tip. And hopefully we've shared some helpful, tools to help you to how you can be present over the holidays with family, with friends, so that you're not stressed. We hope you have a wonderful holiday season. It can be a stressful time of year. It certainly is a very busy time of year with the physical presence and the obligations to family and friends and coworkers, but just make sure that you're looking after you first, because you can't be of service to anybody else if you're not looking after you. That's your number one in your life. And that you are, as we talked about in the last episode, getting the sleep you need and eating healthy. And also too, the other thing I wanted to add is make sure you're doing what you want to do too sometimes, like whether it's a movie that you want to watch, or a holiday party that you want to say no to, or a specific party you want to say yes to. Make sure you are doing what you want to do, because this is your holiday too, not just for other people.
That's right. Yeah, it's a great reminder for us. So I'm really glad we picked this topic.
Yes, that was fun, Ed. It was a good deep dive into presence.
Mm-hmm. Be present.
Be present.